Alright, so at the time of making this video, which is late Tuesday night, I am 11 subs away from 300. So with a whole bunch of new people here probably seeing this video, seeing this series for the first time, what I do is I show everyone my picks here. So if they just want a quick look at what I'm picking this week, they can pop in, look at it, pop out. If you want to know why I picked them, stay. I talk about every single pick in here. So I do that every week. Playoffs are a little bit different. If you want to go back to last year, I have a little bit different of a formula for playoff. But because there's 16 games, I decided instead of doing all the editing, I just do this instead. So we'll get into it. So Thursday night, Indianapolis heads to Denver. This one, there's a lot of games in here, and actually I flipped a coin for 2 games. I legit flipped a coin for 2 games in here. I don't have the coin on me right now, but I did flip a coin. So we'll talk about those games later on. But this one I could have flipped a coin easily because I don't think Jonathan Taylor's healthy. Russell Wilson is apparently hurt. Javonte Williams is out for the season for Denver and whatnot. So both teams, are kind of hurt. Both teams are just not that good. Like Denver's and Indy is a lot worse than what I thought they were going to be this year. I thought they were going to be a lot better. I thought the defense was going to be better. I thought, Matt Ryan's coming in, so that offense will be good. But they just have not. And when you get shut out by the Jags, yeah, I'm not. I don't think I've picked them once since, what was that, week 2? So I'm going with Denver this Thursday. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of games in here that I don't know. Then we head to London for our second international game of the season. I think is the next one. Is that the Germany one in Munich? I think, which is Tampa and Seattle in like a couple of weeks. I forget. There's a couple other places. I think there's one in Mexico. This year too. I can't. There's a lot of different places we go this year for international games. But we're going to London, second London game, second week in a row of having a London game. I am picking my Packers. If you don't know, I am a Packers fan here. But the reason I'm picking the Packers here, and I try to be very unbiased when it comes to this, is I think after last week, I think the offense is going to get in more of a rhythm. I think the defense is going to learn, like, hey, we just let Damian Harris and Stevenson go off. I think they had like 150 combined yards or something like that. So I think the defense is going to adapt to Saquon. And I think the offense is going to, hopefully be able to, do what they did against Tampa, in week 2 against the Bears. Hopefully that team shows up and not. They weren't bad week 3. Aaron Jones had an amazing week 3. But I think that they will be able to hold Saquon down. And they'll be able to beat them. It might be a close game because Saquon ran for, it was like 150 yards or something last week against the Bears. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm picking the Packers to win this. Might be a tight game. Then, back home here in the States, our first game up for the noon slate. Detroit heads to New England. This one is going to be interesting in my opinion. I'm picking New England, but very easily, Detroit could win this game. I think Detroit it's a lot better than they have been in the past years. Yes, they kind of look sloppy past 2 weeks, but I think they have a couple injuries, don't they? I think, and then I think they have more people out this weekend too. So I think New England bounces back. They're on a two game losing streak right now, I think. What week was the Steelers game? I think was that week 3. I think I can't remember. There's too many games here to remember every single team and every single team they played. So whatever, it's like a 2 game losing streak that they're on. So I think they snapped that and to beat Detroit at home. New England, their defense. I'm liking their defense. Jack Jones, a 4th round pick for them, who had a pick 6 against the Packers. I think he'll be a good corner. Good future corner. So I'm excited to see how that Patriots defense plays. And I believe Mac Jones is back too. So anything can change by the time this video goes up on Wednesday to Sunday, and Mac Jones might be ruled out like Saturday, and there's nothing I'm going to do about it because I'm not going to re-record a picks video for one game after everything else is set in stone. So, yeah, just New England. I'm going to start going a little bit faster here because this is going to be a 20-minute video otherwise. Chargers, Cleveland. I don't know. Herbert obviously looked a lot better. Obviously, it was the Houston Texans last week, but he did look better, looks healthier and whatnot. So I think another week of rest, preparing himself, healing up and whatnot. I think that they can beat the Browns. The funny thing was when Baker was there. This was last season, I believe. This was like a 38-35 game or something like that, or maybe it was it 45-42? I don't know. Point is, this was a very high-scoring game, very close game, and I believe the Chargers got the ball last and they won it. So that's the only reason they won. So I think I don't know if Jacoby Brissett can do the same thing, but maybe if that defense can hold down the offense of the Chargers a bit, this could be a close game too. So Houston, Jacksonville, I'm not even going to really talk about this. Houston is the only winless team, obviously, left in the NFL because the Raiders won last week, and then Jacksonville is, what are they, 3-1, I believe. So I think Jacksonville should win. This is in Florida at home for them, so I think that they have a good shot at winning. It's a division rival, so anything can happen, because you just never know. But I think that they should be able to win this. Then this game, I don't know why this game is so appealing to me. But this game, I hope I get this game on my TV because Atlanta's heading to Tampa. It just seems so interesting. They're tied for first place now. Tampa coming off a losing game to the Chiefs. Atlanta ending the game against Cleveland with a pick, sealing their win. So I just... It feels like it's going to be an interesting game and a fun game, so I'm ready to see how this goes. I am picking Tampa at home to rebound off of their loss. I think Godwin or Julio, someone should be coming back soon. Maybe not this weekend, but I think that they will, eventually get into a better rhythm. And it's Tom Brady. So, we're going to ignore the stuff off the field going on. I think he's going to, eventually find a way during the season to kind of focus on the football when he's on the football field. So, yeah, but look for this to be a weird game, possibly interesting game. And if Atlanta wins, chaos. Pittsburgh has the Buffalo. I'm not really going to talk about this. Pittsburgh is not that good. We'll see. Kenny Pickett had, I think, 3 interceptions last week, but somehow looked better than Mitch Trubisky. So maybe he can do better this week. With a full week of preparation as the starter this time, but it's Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo should beat them, but then again, it's Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing season, so you just never know. But it's in Buffalo. I think Buffalo will figure out a way to win this game, even if somehow they make it close, and somehow maybe Pittsburgh gets a 10-point lead at half. Buffalo will figure out a way in the second half to come back. Miami Jets. I am picking the Jets to upset. I am not a huge fan of Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. Obviously, the Bengals are okay. I feel like they would lose that game if Tua was healthy. But obviously they won it because, Teddy Bridgewater had to come in. And it's not like he's a terrible QB, but I don't feel good about him. And something's just telling me Jets are home for this game, and without Tua, this game's gonna be a lot closer. So I think the Jets are actually gonna upset here. And for anyone that's new, blue means upset. Oh, I don't have a game of the week. There's just not really a lot of really interesting games this week. I don't really think Dallas and LA is a good game of the week. Maybe Raiders can't. Well, I don't think. Maybe Baltimore, Cincinnati. I guess that could have been game of the week. I didn't do one this week just because I just didn't like the slate. But I guess Cincinnati, Baltimore could be it. Anyway, blue is upset. Yellow is my normal picks. What most people would probably be picking. And then again, green is game of the week for who I think could win. And that's usually between either two good teams or it's, could be two mid-tier teams, but they're both coming off of like good wins and whatnot. So, yeah. Then we move on to Chicago, heads to Minnesota. Minnesota's getting all of their home games against the North. The NFC North out of the way early on, and they got to travel to Chicago later on this year, travel to Green Bay, travel to Detroit later on this year. So they're getting all their home games dealt with when it's warm outside. So, two of the three other places they have to go in the North are outside. So, I don't know who decides the schedule, but Minnesota should win at home against Chicago. Maybe Chicago puts up a fight, possibly. But I just think that, Bears are just not that good. So I don't trust them to win this game. Tennessee, Washington, not much to talk about here. I think Tennessee should win this. Seattle, New Orleans, I flipped the coin for this. This was the first game I flipped the coin for. Because I didn't know how to feel about this game. And I ended up getting Seattle. So I'm picking Seattle to upset New Orleans. New Orleans just does not feel like a crazy good team anymore. Yes, their defense is pretty well, but the Vikings just kind of did whatever they want for basically the second half of the game last week. Now it's in London, so maybe travel issues and whatnot affected that, but I don't know. I don't like the offense of the Saints. Kamara I don't think is coming back yet. Jameis Winston I don't think is coming back yet. So what is it? It's Andy Dalton as the QB. I don't know how to feel about them. And Seattle has honestly surprised me. What are they? I think they're either 1-3 or 2-2. I don't remember if they have 2 wins or not so far. But Geno Smith, what was it? Is it the completion percentage highest through 4 games and whatnot? He has better stats than Russell Wilson this year so far, which I thought was pretty noticeable and pretty interesting. So I think Seattle. You got Geno. You might not win like a playoff game if you somehow make it there, but I think they have a chance to maybe win like 6 or 7 games, and I think they could win this game. This is a very winnable game for them, just because, again, New Orleans it doesn't feel like a powerhouse team, a team to be afraid of this year, unlike years past. And again, the injury bug really affects them too. So, I flipped the coin, got Seattle, and went with that. San Francisco, Carolina, not to talk about a lot to talk about here. I'm picking San Francisco there just because Carolina sucks. Philly, Arizona, not a lot to talk about here. Philly extends their undefeated streak in Arizona and beats them on the road. Dallas, LA, Rams. I'm picking Dallas to upset because what I saw against the Niners for Monday Night Football just did not look good. Their offense didn't look good. I don't believe, I'd have to double check the stats, but I don't think Aaron Donald got a sack in that Niners game. So I think if the Cowboys O-line can hold off Aaron Donald, I think if, the Cowboys defense, this is the test. This is a real test. If you're as good as defensively as people are saying you are, this is a test. This is probably a playoff team here, and if you want to compete with playoff teams, you got to beat them. And how do you do that? Offense and defense, and special teams. But if your defense can help, and give shorter fields to Cooper Rush and whatnot, or you're making the Rams punt a lot, and then the defense for the Rams is tired because they're out there so much on the field. I think there's a lot of scenarios in which Dallas can win, so I'm picking them to win. I think this is America's Game of the Week on Fox or CBS or whatever it is. So probably end up getting this game, but watch this it'll be interesting to see if Dallas is actually as good as people say they are, if their defense is as good. Then we get to the other game that I flipped the coin for. Cincinnati, Baltimore, in Baltimore. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I would have said, Baltimore's going to crush Lamar's MVP caliber and whatnot. Lamar is not MVP caliber to me right now. He does not look like it. I don't know what happened, but you can't have the Bills come into your house, you put up 20 in the first half, and zero in the second half. You can't do that against playoff teams. That's why you lose games. That's why you lost to the Bills. So Lamar just does not look good to me as of right now. We'll see. He might get back in the MVP conversation. Maybe he just had an off game. Everyone does. Just this week heading into week 5, he just moved down my MVP rankings right now. But I think that Cincinnati's kind of on a rise right now, and so I flipped the coin. I got Cincinnati, and I just said I'm gonna go with that. I'm not gonna switch it. I'm not gonna think about it a lot. I'm gonna just pick Cincinnati because that's what I got with the coin flip. Because if I go 2-0 on a coin flip, I might just start coin flipping every week for every single game and see what happens. So this will be a fun Sunday night game. I can't wait for this game. It'll be an exciting AFC North rivalry game. You can never predict a rivalry game at all, especially AFC North. Like, they all hate each other. It doesn't matter if 3 teams are good and 1 team is bad. That bad team still can beat the good teams in the AFC North and whatnot. So I'm excited for this game. Then we move on to our Monday night game. The Raiders head to Kansas City. I am going to start praying right now for the Raiders because they're going to get blown out. This is going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be terrible. I feel so bad that they are on Monday Night Football. Joe Buck is going to have to commentate it. Kansas City is a top 3 team right now. And the Raiders are a bottom tier team. Now, I said at the beginning of the season that, I don't trust the Chiefs defense a lot. They looked a lot better against the Bucs last night, or not last night, Sunday night. So, no, were they Monday night? Whatever. No, they were Sunday night. They were Sunday night because the Rams-Niners was Monday night. So they looked a lot better. So I think you're going against the division rival. It's at home in your house. I think they're going to put on a show. I think Patrick Mahomes might put up 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Their running game might be very good too. Defense, again, I think the defense can do pretty well. So I don't think this is going to be close. I think the Chiefs are just that good. And this might be a 48-24 game or something like that. Like, it might look closer on paper, but, the Chiefs might put their backups out at, like, the last part of the 4th quarter or something. So, I don't think there's, like, any way that the Raiders can win. Now, again, as I've stated before in this episode, division rivalries, you can't predict. There's no logic. Throw it out the window. Take it out and just don't look at logic for division rivalries because anything can happen. The Jets can beat Miami. Atlanta can beat Tampa, all this stuff. So, that saying they can do it. But if you pull logic back in and actually look, the Chiefs on paper are 100 times better than the Raiders right now. So, there's 2 sides to this. So, with that being said, let me know your picks. Anyone you're picking different this week? Anyone you disagree with? Obviously, again, I know people are probably going to disagree with, Seattle and maybe the Jets. I don't think Dallas is that, crazy of a pick. Just because, again, if you watch the Rams-Niners game, they do not look good. The Rams have not looked that good this year at all. So, but I know the Jets are going to be a crazy pick, and Seattle might be kind of a crazy pick too. But, hey, you never know. The NFL is unpredictable right now. So, for now, like the video, share the video around, don't forget to subscribe, and we're on the road to 300. We are 11 away, as I stated at the beginning of this video, and I'm out of here. Peace.